Thank you so much, Coach Lucy, and for everyone who is in the meeting room today. We don't take it for granted that you had to leave everything that you're doing to join us today. And so I'll start with that big question: how do you manage in those hard economic times? It's very important before I even delve into the MansaX presentation to just pick a few notes that, there we have the rate of inflation, we have so many things going on, geopolitical tensions, we have, economic factors, we have rate of inflation going so high and eating into our money. So how do we move on from here? So without further ado, I'll delve into the MansaX presentation, and it's good to actually just ask ourselves why Mansa X. There are so many investment solutions that we have in Kenya, and I know that Coach Lucy has taken you through most of them, or maybe all of them. But why should we incorporate a Mansa X investment solution? So first of all, is because all of us have your financial goals, whether long term, short term, or medium term, and you really want to get through those. You want to achieve those goals without so much straining, or just considering the time period or the tenure of your investments. So Mansa X is a multi-asset strategy fund, and I would like to just share the presentation. I don't know if Coach Lucy, I'm able to share this. Just a minute.
Yes, yes, you can share. It's open.
Yeah, so just a minute. So we say Mansa X is a multi-asset strategy fund. Before we even delve into the fact sheet, I'd already opened the fact sheet, so just a minute. Okay. Okay. Mhm. See, I don't know if that's legible.
I can see it actually. You wanted to widen it?
I wanted to widen it so that
Mm. I think because it's still in your email box. But yeah, it's
oh,
good. Better? It's
it's good
better?
now. Is it
It's
better?
better. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. So before we even get to Mansa X, it's good to understand who is this that is offering Mansa X. So Mansa X is a product that is offered by Standard Investment Bank. And before we even get to SIB, it's good to understand what type of bank is this. So there are two types of banks in Kenya essentially. We have commercial banks and we have investment banks. So commercial banks are the deposit taking ones. They're regulated by Central Bank of Kenya. I know you know them, where you deposit your money, you have a current account, a fixed account, or you're paying school fees, or you're paying anyone through that account. That is a commercial bank. It is regulated by Central Bank of Kenya. Then we have another type of bank that is called investment banks. That one is regulated by Capital Markets Authority. It is not deposit taking. However, it requires another bank to take funds on their behalf, which is a custodian bank in this case. So Standard Investment Bank was started in 1995, and we have been around for the last around 30 years now. We are actually 30 years this year, and we started off as a stockbroker in 1995. We are a member of Nairobi Securities Exchange, that is the NSC. We are a member of the Kenya Association of Stockbrokers and Investment Banks, and also an authorized central depository agent of Central Depository and Settlement Corporation. That long last one means we are an agent of CBK, and we're able to help you access government bonds and treasury bills and corporate bonds, whatever bonds that you may want to access. So assets under management as at the time of this presentation was at around 45.9 billion. We are well now over 55 billion shillings. So our milestones, where did we start? Like I mentioned, we started off as a stockbroker, a stock brokerage firm, because I get this question a lot. Are you affiliated in any way to Standard Chartered or Stanbic? No, we are not. We are just a different kind of bank. We just offer you investment. So we started off in 1995. In 2003, we became a fully fledged investment bank. So that means we opened up to offering more solutions like corporate finance, like fixed income, which I'll talk about later. Then we, of course, we won a couple of awards, and one of our largest transaction was actually advisory for Kenya, for Kengen, which was about 28 billion rights issue offer. What do we mean? So when I say that we became a fully fledged means now we also started offering advisory. It has, rights issues with things. So that was a major milestone. Got a license, and the reason for this seeking investment, they actually lost a lot of money in the pyramid schemes or Ponzi schemes, and authority came up with a regulation to just ensure that they regulate the space and they protect the Kenyan investor. And that is how we got our license in 2018. So the license allows us to invest not only in the local market space but also in the global market space. And then we also got from our investors, we got the need to start the MansaX Dollar Fund, which was launched in the tail end of 2022. Why this is because some investors maybe would have maybe some dollars in their accounts, and they wanted to generate better returns without having to convert their dollars, because when you convert, you're in a risk of what you call currency exchange risk. You might get yourself into that. And also there are people who actually just use their dollars a lot when it comes to transactions in their businesses, or they're paying school fees, whatever it is, and they did not want to convert their dollars. So we came up with the Mansa X USD fund. Again, there was need to also, we had the Muslim clients who also wanted to get something for them. And all of if you know, maybe Muslims have a different way of investing. They are not after returns, they are after profits. So they are not after a return on investment, but they're after profit. So we had to tailor make a special investment solution for them, and that is how we came up with the SIB Naja, which is Mansa X Sharia. It is actually a Sharia compliant investment solution. The tail end of 2024, again, we got to be licensed by a Retirement Benefits Authority. Please remember, it's because of how we've been able to manage the Mansa X funds that really validated us just to get another extra license from Retirement Benefits Authority. We were granted this license to be able to manage retirement savings in Kenya. So now that you have
Sorry,
a, yeah, yes,
before you go ahead, Miriam, there was a
yeah.
time your voice got lost when you mentioned something to do with Kengen
Oh, sorry.
a few minutes ago, but I think you lost like 1 minute or so when you were mentioning
Okay,
Kengen. Yeah.
thank you. Let me go back there. So Kengen is one of our that is okay. Our largest transaction is when we gave advisory on Kengen rights issue of about 28 billion. And just to mention is that corporate finance department, which is one of our departments here, is the one that is always tasked with such responsibilities, doing mergers, acquisitions, takeovers, rights issue offers, capital raising for institutions. We actually work very well with commercial banks when it comes to capital raising. And like you see in other slides, there are some of our customers that are there. So Kengen rights issue offer was one of our biggest transactions. I hope that one is clear. So, like I mentioned, us not being a commercial bank, you're not walking to SIB and expect to see, tellers. The only tellers you might see are the equities or stocks tellers. But you have fixed income department. This one takes care of you when it comes to government bonds, euro bonds, corporate bonds, and treasury bills. Just to mention that when you talk about government bonds, and government bonds is a long-term borrowing by the government to maybe take care of infrastructure or any other service that they may want to facilitate, any other activity they may want to facilitate. Then you have the euro bonds. This is a bond offered by another by a country to another country. And we have corporate bonds, treasury bills, which are short-term borrowings by the government. Corporate bonds is when a corporate is trying to, raise capital for the company. So all these we are able to offer to you as an investor. Corporate finance, this is when you restructure balance sheet and help to raise capital, restructure enterprises, like I mentioned, mergers, acquisitions, and takeovers. Yeah, so when maybe Jamibora, for example, Jamibora transitioned from Jamibora to Kingdom Bank, courtesy of what we did for them. We helped them there, in restructuring. There was also NICCBA, there was Kenoko Bill to Rubies, among many other transactions. Research, we also have a department that takes care of research. When you look on your business dailies, some of these reports are done by us, just making sure that we give you information, real-time information, when it comes to your equities, and so that you're able to make strategic decisions for yourself. Global markets, this forms the basis of our discussion today. This is where we help you to see how we can expose your finances or your investments into the global markets instruments. We're talking about world's largest currencies. We have precious metals, commodities, stock indices. I will not lose you on that one. I will delve into that later so that I don't lose anyone. We talked about Islamic banking and pension management. So these are some of our partners, our financial our partners so far. Like recently, when I mentioned we got our RBA license, the retirement benefits license, and you're now able to manage Taifa Pension, which is one of our biggest pension schemes. Safaricom PLC also is recently one of our partners as well, because now we are managing the ZD Money Market Fund. So what are the key highlights? What are the key highlights that we have we have been doing? So if you look at this slide, I know you notice some very familiar brands. We have worked very well with corporates before, and especially commercial banks, when it comes to takeovers, like the takeover of National Bank by KCB, valuation and capital raising for DTB, KCB, Standard Chartered, Jamie Bora Bank, and all those other institutions. So that is what investment banks mostly do. So what sets us apart? Why are we not the same like other investment banks? Purely because you're able to offer you an investment solution that is able to give you above market average returns, and that is MansaX. So MansaX is now a household name. It started in 2019 after getting our license in 2018. And what does MansaX mean? So MansaX is a multi-asset strategy fund. Just to stop there, not to lose anyone. Multi means many, the concept of diversification now sets in. You're investing in many assets, multiple assets, and assets are which constitutes investment stocks, commodities, precious metals, and such things. So, with a long short trading model, long short means you can actually make money. The fund has the ability to make money for you, whether markets are gaining in value or they are losing in value. What does that mean? Like, I'll take you back to the COVID-19 pandemic. Some markets were really on their knees, and still we managed to make a return of 18.75%. So why was that so? It was because we were able to take advantage of the losing stocks and shift our position and make money as they were losing in value. We call it the shorting strategy, where you sell at the current price and you anticipate that it's going to lose further down and you buy back lower. I don't intend to be technical, but just to tell you that that is a factor or an element that cannot take place in the local market space. I'll go back to one of the stocks. Assuming you're buying local stocks, say Safaricom stocks, for example, and they are gaining, from 5 shillings to 30 shillings, for example, you say you've gone long those stocks, you've gained as that asset has gained in value. But now, what happens if it starts to lose in value in the local Kenyan market space? You have two choices. You either hold and hope that it's going to correct, upwards, or you sell at a loss. But in the global market space, you actually gain as these assets are losing in value. That is why it is more advantageous to also diversify further away into the global market space. Then the other with the objective, okay, the where do we invest? Local and global markets. So in the local market space, we'll expose you to the fixed income, which is government bonds. I know when you buy, you hear of government bonds, you're thinking, oh no, they are buying now, maybe a 5 year, 10 year, and they'll be there until the end of the period. Not at all. So when you're operating a fund, an actively managed fund, you have now an advantage of having big liquidity. It is capital intensive. You have access to funds, and you can be able to take advantage of the markets. So in other words, you can buy and sell within a very short period of time. So we don't buy and hold bonds or hold on to them until the end of the tenure, but we can buy today and even sell in 2 weeks or even in a month, so, and spread out our margins. Then the primary objective of creating capital growth for the investors. So why are we diversifying like this? Why are we spreading out the investments? So we are doing that with the main objective of growing your capital as an investor. Just to take you back, when I mentioned about the local investments, we invest in government bonds, and we also do equities. Yeah. And we also look at the high performing, we also do derivatives. And in the global market space, we'll expose you to the stocks, precious metals. Precious, when I say stocks, I mean the normal stocks that you may know of. Like some of you are on Twitter, but you don't know that you can actually invest in X. Some of you are in, you're using Uber every day. Maybe you're sending a package to someone, or you're buying something through the Uber Bolt or Uber. Then you don't know that you can actually invest in such stocks. So we do that for you. We incorporate it in your investments. So, like right now, we're using Zoom, but do you know that we also MansaX invests in Zoom? Yeah, you can use Microsoft, Apple, and all these stocks. But do you know that we actually also take advantage of the appreciation of these stocks and invest for you? And also, like I mentioned, the going losing in value, we also take advantage of that and make money for you. So to go back to the definition, MansaX is a multi-asset strategy fund with a long-short trading model. Multi meaning many, long-short trading model meaning you can gain whether markets are gaining in value or losing in value with in the both local and global markets. Yeah, so we invest for you in both local and global markets, and the primary objective is creating growth for you. However, as an investor, I'm sure you have your own goals, whether it's taking care of recurring expenditure, taking care of travel, school fees, pension or retirement, whatever it is, without using your capital, but your money working for you. So Mansa is able to do that. So how does the profile look like? So with just an investment of 250,000, you can actually start your investment, and you can build it slowly as you top up from a minimum of 100,000. And I get this question a lot. 250 is too much. And why 250? The reason we have that kind of bare minimum amount to start with is because we want to tap into so many stocks as much as we can to help you access that and give you better returns. Remember, in different asset classes, MansaX invest in different asset classes, and in every asset class we have different investments. So we have stocks, commodities, precious metals, and single stocks. So if we are able to get into a good capital base, we're able to spread out into all of them and get better returns for you. We have a lock-in period of 6 months. These 6 months, why 6 months? I always tell investors that never treat your investment like a current account, whether you're investing in a money market fund or a T-bill or a bond. Learn to be patient with the investment. So if you are investing in such a fund, for example, even a money market fund, you want to look at a period of at least 12 months, leave alone 6 months. 12 months will be a good period to help you, gain better because of what you call the compounding effect. MansaX will compound on a calendar quarter basis. So if you're out before maybe 12 years and you're talking about 19% or 18% return on investment, then you'll not be lucky to tap into that. However, if you're patient with the investment for a period of 12 months, definitely you're going to reap better than someone who is just trying to treat their investment account like a current account. Then the custodian bank. When I started, I mentioned that we are not a commercial bank. So we need a custodian bank to take funds on our behalf. Why custodian bank? Money in custody is the safest, even when, and money in custody is not considered. The balance sheet in the money in custody is not the bank balance, the bank's books balance. This is the safest money there is in the bank. And that is why custodian, we put our money in a custody account in a custodian bank. So hence the reason, and I&M has been good to us since we started the fund. Withdrawals, again, another thing that you really need to appreciate about this investment is that you're able to access your funds within 2 to 3 working days. 2 days if you're doing a partial withdrawal, and 3 days if you're doing a complete withdrawal. And we charge a fee of 5%. So the 5% is just to help us manage the fund, also pay taxes on a fund level, because when it comes to the issue of tax, we pay taxes on a fund level. There is VAT that we are charged, and also for the local instruments that we are paying withholding tax, we have to pay for that. So hence our reason for charging the 5%. However, we prorate it in 365 days. What does that mean? We will not take it one off. We are dividing it in 365. So every day is like a daily charge. So we charge 5% on the assets under management. What do I mean? It means if you give me your 100, your 1 million, and the return is 20, is 19.53, it means it was 24.53. So in 1,240,300, I deduct 50,000, and your take home is 1,190,530. So it means you are actually, we are charging you on the entire amount, not on your capital. Yeah. So what is the performance charge? So this one kicks in the day we do above a hurdle rate of 25%. So what is a hurdle rate? A hurdle rate is like a target rate or an objective rate. Like our target is 25%. So should we do above 25, then we shall charge 10% on the surplus. For example, should we offer 26%? So we've surpassed by 1%, and therefore we shall charge 10% on the one. However, we have never delivered above that, and therefore we have never charged more than 25%. On the hurdle rate for the dollar, again, it's above 15%. Happy to report that last year we did more than 15% on the dollar, but we never charged the performance fee, meaning it's at the discretion of the fund. So assets under management as at the time of that presentation was 39.5 billion for Kenya shillings and 53.08 for the dollar. So why do you want to choose MansaX over any other special collective investment scheme? Kindly know the word special is because there's an element of the global markets. It's because of the consistency. MansaX has been there over the last 6 years, going 7 now, and we are proud. We are proud to report that. We're happy to report that we have managed to give an annualized return of 17.8%. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is how a diversified portfolio looks like. So, when I say I have spread out your investment, this is how it looks like. You're investing in the local market space and in the global market space. So, what is the advantage of diversification? And I mean genuine diversification. The advantage of this is that your capital is not at risk. Actually, most people think that MansaX is very, very risky, but we like to say that it's actually the reverse. We are a very conservative fund compared to the other funds out there, even the global funds, because we check your capital preservation. We ensure that we are able to spread out your investment into different assets. We set up the limits for different dealers. These are traders that work with us. We ensure that we also set stop loss limits for every investment, just to make sure that the volatility does not affect your investment. We also ensure that we diversify geographically. We not say that the US market is so good, so let's pump all the money in the US market, or Tokyo, London, or Sydney, or Oceania, or Asia. We genuinely spread out your investment. And that is why when I recently I've been hearing this question of how does the Trump tariffs affect your investment, or how does the Russia Ukraine war affect your investment. It's good to know that MansaX does not only invest in the US market, it also invests in other markets. Yeah, like I mentioned, the Tokyo, the Sydney, the London markets. So we are able to spread out your investment in all these markets. Another thing you need to note is that you can actually make money when some assets are losing in value. I remember on April 2nd, I got so many calls. What's happening now? The tariffs have been introduced, and we are afraid that the stocks are red. Remember, even as the stock market was not doing so well, we actually gained as the markets were losing in value. And if you look even at our quarter one of 2025, which I'll share the fun fact sheet later, we managed to squeeze in 4.89% in such hard economic times, which brings us to our question: how do we survive in these such hard economic times? The answer is right in front of you. It is through diversification. You just need to add an element of an investment solution that is able to spread out your investment in different asset classes to tap into different opportunities in the market. So, what are these markets that we invest in? We have derivatives, we have the equities or the stocks, the cash and cash equivalents. These ones are the ones that enable us to pay you, or we help you to cash out within 2 to 3 working days. The gold ETFs. This is a section of a holding of a particular commodity, for example, gold, since you can't own gold physically. Then you have fixed income. So this is where you have the government bonds and the T-bills and the euro bonds. That is where you have it. Please note that when you talk about fixed income, you can see that it's on the amber and the black. The fixed income would mean we also invest in fixed income in other countries, like the German bonds and the US treasuries or the US government bonds and so forth. Stock indices, this is an amalgamation or a combination of many stocks into one. For example, we can have many stocks for technology stocks, and we call them NASDAQ. Or maybe you've heard of S&P 500, meaning that is one stock, but it is represented by 500 stocks in that one particular stock. Then we have commodities market. Here you find your oil, your natural gas, your coffee, your corn, cocoa, and such things. And we have single stocks, like the ones that you're talking about: the Uber, there's Amazon, the Tesla, the Facebook, the Microsoft, and so forth. Then you have precious metals. We have gold and silver, platinum, palladium. And if I could mention something about this particular asset class, when some stocks are very volatile, the single stocks or the stock indices, the safe haven would be sometimes our precious metals. They always work in reverse. So you don't need to know all this information. All you need to know is that you have an actively managed fund with MansaX. Actively managed fund means it doesn't matter how markets are looking. Someone is buying and selling on your behalf. All you need to count on us is at the end of the quarter, you wait for that return on investment and decide whether you want to roll over with us or you just want to opt out. And please note, we automatically roll over for you every end of calendar quarter. So currencies, this is where you find your dollar, your USD, your okay, we don't trade against the Kenya shillings, but you find your dollar, you'll find the euro, the pound, the franc, yeah, and you also have the emerging markets currencies like the Turkish lira and the South African rand. That's where you find it. Derivatives, this is a way of hedging, of protecting you from downside risk of volatility in the global market. So we use derivatives a lot so that we take care of your portfolio as a fund. So it's a bit technical, but not to worry. We have a whole team of investment committee and a portfolio management team that is able to take care of that. Yeah. So what are the benefits? You can see diversification again is one of them. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Like you cannot say, I want to put all my money in real estate. Yeah, having real estate is very very important and very good in your portfolio. However, you know the challenges that come with the real estate issues to do with liquidity. If you want to sell that apartment or that property, it might take you longer than you want to meet your maybe emergency need. So you really want to have another aspect of diversification. You want to have an investment that you can cash in and cash out within a short turnaround time should you have an emergency. So emergency funds are very important to have. So it's a 24-hour market. You're not only investing from 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. Your investment is being in your investment is running 24 hours. You're in Sydney, Tokyo, Nairobi, London, and New York. And if I could mention this, we are very lucky to be in Nairobi. We are able to get into all this. We're able to get into these markets within very favorable time zones. Yeah, God indeed loves us. Then the dollar return, it potentially adjusts to Kenya shillings, depreciation and inflation. I always come back to this issue of inflation. And if you could remember my question about inflation being always stagnating but about 3% recently. You really want to always get inflation beating returns. What does inflation beating returns mean? It means that whatever returns you're given, should you deduct even 3%, you're still able to make a good return on investment for yourself. So whenever you're presented with a return on investment, these are the kind of questions you need to ask. So if I deduct the rate of inflation, what is my balance? If I deduct the withholding tax, what is my take home? So we like to say that MansaX is able to give you inflation beating returns. Over the last 6 years, we've been able to give an average of 17.8%. Last year, we managed to squeeze out 19.53 net, meaning our gross was the plus 5%, which was 24.53% net, 5% gross. So that in itself is able to tell you that is why we are able to make so much because of the diversification. Leverage, ability to trade amount larger than your capital. This is like getting a loan. Now that you're in a big fund, I rely on Coach Lucy's money, my money, Elizabeth's money, Esther's money. We bring it all together, then we have a fund. So we do not segregate investors because I always get that question: what if I bring you 100 million? Will you give me better returns than someone else who was just bringing the minimum of 250? The answer is no. You're investing in a fund, so the return is based on the fund. So it doesn't matter how much you started with, whether you started with your 250 or with your 100 million, the return on investment is the same across board. However, it's good to note that the investors who keep on topping up their investment, they keep widening or growing their capital base, and therefore the returns will definitely seem better. Yeah, like 18% of 100 million and 18% of 10 million, is they're not small amounts, but it's not the same. Just to give you an example. Trading opportunities, whether markets are moving up or down, you have the fund has opportunities to make money. And I'll take you back to the same aspect I started with during the COVID-19 pandemic. The markets were moving up and down during the Russia-Ukraine war still going on. So this is where, when their volatility strikes, that is where actually the fund has opportunities to make money. Liquidity, investors can easily access their funds within a lock-in period of 6 months. And we don't put this lock-in period to punish our investors. And should the investor withdraw their money before 6 months, they will not lose their capital. They will just forfeit the interest. So this is just to encourage the investors to stay longer and to be patient with their investment. Then the local presence, both the online money manager and online brokers based in Kenya. So you are actually able to talk to a financial advisor. You can walk into our offices, you can call a financial advisor, and they're able to take you through the investment. We are located along Kenyatta Avenue at JQuat Towers. So you can always walk in to our building. So the aspect of risk management. So how do you manage the risk? So the aspect of risk is very important to understand, and this is a question that will always pop up when you're discussing this particular investment. So number one is that we have a well-defined investment process. When we say a well-defined investment process, is that we genuinely diversify your portfolio. And how do you trust the word genuinely? Is because when you look back at the last 6 years since 2019, then you tell that definitely MansaX has been able to do something special. What is it that they're doing uniquely that has made them stay afloat and being able to, get consistently get above market average returns? It's because of the well-defined investment process. So we have the trading limits, so asset class wise. So like I will remember the asset classes, the precious metals, the single stocks, and all of them have limits. So we cannot say that the currencies are looking so good, so let's pump all the money there. Or the precious metals are so good right now, let's pump all the money there. So we have to put stop loss limits. We have to put asset class limits as well. Sector wise, so we cannot say the consumables are doing well, so let's put all the money there. Then we invest in other maybe luxury stocks and put a lot there. So we have to genuinely diversify. Industry wise and geography limits, same thing. We cannot also put all our money in the Oceania market or the Asian market or the US market. Particularly the US market, I always get that a lot. Hey, now that Trump has introduced tariffs, what's happening to the Canadian dollar? What's happening to the USD? Yeah, so it's good to know that you're not only investing in the USD, even though you're investing in dollar denominated assets. We able to use strategies to protect your investment from downside risks. Yeah, such things like hedging, to put in the stop loss limits. So for the dealer limits, or we have traders that we use, all of them who have a history in banking, and all of them also have their limits. So we will be able to spread out, and they know what they are allocated at the end of the day. Intraday and overnight limits. I mentioned that being in Kenya, we're very lucky to tap into different the best time zones of the market. We have an investment committee. This one specifies the risk parameters. They know what is risky. We even have a risk department that is able to take care of that aspect. So we set allocation ranges, so we know we cannot allocate this much, we cannot put in this much. And that is why I come back to telling you that MansaX is actually not a risky fund like people purport it to be, because of the measures that we have put in. Is it a risky investment, investing in the global market space? Of course it is. What really matters is your strategy to ensure that you take care of the downside as well. So trustee oversight. Finally, now the Capital Markets Authority also required us to have a trustee because of the growth of the fund. You can imagine from a fund of 240 million in 2019 to 55 billion assets under management. That is not a small a small fund. So we are required to have a trustee. That is an independent body that performs their own risk analysis to ensure that we are doing the right thing. Monies that come in intended for MansaX are for MansaX and nothing else. So we also have the regular regulator audits by Capital Markets Authority. They're always checking into our fund, ensuring that we are doing the right thing, compliance and audit books and all that. So that is the performance of the fund in 2024, 19.53%. Like you can see, the quarters are different. No quarter looks like the other. Like quarter one of 2024 was 5.62. Quarter two of 2024 was 4.99. So the fund fact sheet, which I'll share later, there's no quarter that looks like the other. So all you need to know is that we are compounding on a calendar quarter basis. So you're rolling over your capital plus the return to the next period, the next quarter, and reinvest it and then subject it to that kind of return. So, of course, past performance is not indicative of future performance, but consistently, MansaX has been able to do that for you. 19.53 was the net, so the gross was 24.53. So, after deducting our fee, that's how you end up with the 19.53. The fund comes in two options. We also have the dollar fund, which is the return on investment was 12.5%. The reason the return, I always get this question: why is the dollar lower than the Kenya shillings? And I think I have it here. So the dollar is 12.5%, yet the Kenya shillings is 19.53%. It's good to note that dollar, the MansaX special fund USD is the currency is the USD only, and we benchmark on the US treasuries. So if you have a 12.5, the US treasuries or US bonds have given way below 5%. So if you get a 12.5% net, believe you me, you are in the money. So the gross return on investment was 17.5 and the net was 12.5. Again, look at the quarterly performance, it is different. Yeah. But consistently, if you look at our performance, you'll notice. So let me go back so that I don't skip any slide. So on this particular slide, you will realize that Mansa X, like I mentioned, performs differently. All quarters are different. There are quarters that are at 5.62, then you have one at 3.78, and that is just to tell you that there is no time that markets are the same. However, if you look at any 4 quarters following each other, any 4 quarters following each other, 4 quarters for my year. So any 4 quarters following each other, there is none that will give you below 17.8%. So that is to tell you that it doesn't matter what time of the year you join. If your date is today, 29th of April, the end your end of the year will be 29th of April 2026, and you will have covered 4 quarters. So of course you will expect above market average returns. Not to look like I'm guaranteeing returns, because it is not prudent to do that, but it's just to show you that consistently MansaX has been able to do that. This is an example. The slide in front of you is an example of an investor who started off with 1 million shillings, and they started with this in 2019. And actually, this is a live account. So this particular investor has compounded his investment, and he has gained 2.8 million after fees. This is net to their pocket. So should they want to access their funds, they're almost now tripling. You can see that they're at 2.8. When they started with 1 million shillings. So what does this tell you? If you're patient with your investment, let's not even talk about 6 months. If you're talking about it takes about 4 years. It takes about 4 years for Mansa X, based on the past performance, to actually double your investment. We're not saying that we're guaranteeing, but that is how we have consistently, based on the average return on investment of 17.8. It takes about 4 years to double that investment. So if you're patient with your investment, of course, you will get better. We compare the dollar to the Kenya shillings, and there is the performance of the dollar. Again, what we are offering, like in quarter 1 of 2023, the 3.38 is what most funds will offer in 1 year. So you're getting better because, of course, of diversification. That is the response I have for you. So if you're looking at why am I getting such high returns in the dollar fund or in the Kenya shillings fund, it's because of our diversification into many asset classes. So again, this is a baby fund. We started it in the tail end of 2022, and now you can see we are at 13. This particular investor started with $10,000, and now they are at $13,000. How about that? So the top 10 holdings. So top 10 holdings, this keeps changing every quarter. And this is the top 10 holdings or the allocation of the fund the last period before we exit that particular quarter. So like I mentioned, it's an actively managed fund. And you might even notice that on some top 10 holdings, some funds maybe did not do well. Some stocks did not do well. Some commodities did not do well. Why are they on the top 10 holdings? It's purely because of what I mentioned when it started, the long short trading model, that you can actually make money when some stocks are losing in value. So that is why you sometimes you find them in the top 10 holdings, and this keeps changing. So that one was as at Q4 of 2024. So we are just done now with our presentation. So how does Mansa X compare to other funds? So I would like to make this clear that Mansa X does not invest in interest-bearing assets. What does that mean? Interest-bearing assets are assets that are controlled by the central bank rates, CBR rates. So if central bank lowers the rate, that is what is happening right now. You realize that government bonds have gone down 13-14%. You realize that money market funds are now offering about 8%. Yeah, because they invest in the T-bills, which are interest-bearing assets. T-bills are almost, they were at 16.9%. Now they've gone all the way down to about 8.5%. So those are the interest bearing assets that most investments locally invest in. So what sets Mansa X apart is that we do not rely on the purely on interest bearing assets. Yes, we have an element of government bonds, but then again, we diversify further to be able to give you better returns in the market. So the money market funds at the time it was 14%. I'm sure you've seen that they have gone down. The government bonds currently have also gone down. Fixed deposits at the bank again because they're also investing in interest bearing assets and maybe relying on the loans and all that. They have also gone down. SACCOs also invest in maybe real estate, some element of government bonds and money market funds, and you realize that the dividend rates have also gone down. Mansa X has been able to sustain this because of the aspect of diversification. So I think we are now at the FAQs. So to answer the question today that was offered, how do you sustain yourself in such economic times? The answer is just spread out your investment. You might have that real estate, that money market fund. Those are not bad investments, and it's not to say that the other investments are bad. Government bonds are good investments to have. Money market funds are good investment to have. Fixing your money in the bank is also a good investment to have. What I'm against is just putting your money in the mattress, under the mattress, or putting your money in a current account or a chama. Those ones, I'm sorry, I'm a lady and we have so many chamas, but there is no real return on investment. My advice would be spread out your investment because we have harsh economic times coming along. We've seen the dollar again always being stronger than the Kenya shillings, and now you're wondering which side do I look. The best answer is just diversify your portfolio. Make sure you have a healthy, balanced portfolio, and I'm sure Coach Lucy is there to help you balance your portfolio. Thank you very much. I think I can get the questions now.
Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. I think that was so clearly presented, Miriam. We've learned so much today, and I'm sure the people on the floor, they have also learned a lot. Let me read just a few questions that are on the comment section. The first one by Jane is, you mentioned that the Sharia banking is where one is more focused on profit than ROI. Kindly explain the difference.
Thank you so much, Coach Lucy. Yeah, just to mention that this particular division, the Mansa X, the Sharia, the SIB Najah division, is focused on the Muslim clients. And for the Muslim clients, they have a way of investing. They're not focused on returns, but they are on focused on profit sharing kind of investment. So their investment, the asset classes, the underlying assets or where they invest their money, they have to be Sharia compliant. They have to be passed by. They have to be. We have a Sharia compliance board. We have the sheikh, and we have all these people making sure that they invest in Sharia compliant investments. Some of which include the Islamic sukuk bonds. Now, like you see in the other markets will not have that kind of bond. They will just do government bonds. But for the Muslim community, they excuse me, they only focus on the Sharia compliant investments. So they are very few, and hence the return on investment or the return they get is very, very minimal because of the asset allocation. They call it profit sharing because they don't term it like you're getting a return. Whatever the whole fund gets, that they get the profit share based on the investment that they invest in.
Ah, fantastic. I hope the question was answered, Jane. Um, the other question is by Steve Nyaga. Is a 5% charge a percentage of the capital return or on both capital plus the return? And does MansaX guarantee capital preservation, or it is implied by the diversification strategy?
Very good question. I feel like Alex is answering the question. The next answer is, yeah. So 5% is on both. It's on assets under management, both the capital and the return on investment. And I'll give an example. On 1 million shillings, assuming, because the gross return on investment was 24.53%, that is the gross, yeah? So it means for the 1 million bob, that particular investor got 240,530 shillings. That is gross. That is the client's money plus our 5%. So when you deduct 5% of that, which is 50, when you do 50,000, the whatever remains is 19,000, 190,530. So we like to say that it is on assets under management, not on the capital and not on the returns, but on assets under management. However, we prorate it. So on your 1 million, it is correct to say, because you reported 19.53, on your 1 million, it is correct to say that you indeed got 190,530 shillings on your 1 million shillings. And then there was the next question.
Yes, does MansaX guarantee capital preservation, or it is implied by the diversification strategy?
It is actually implied by the diversification strategy. It is, like I mentioned, it is not prudent to guarantee anything. The capital preservation is just purely based on our strategy to invest in the global market space, how the investment process is, the well-defined investment process, the diversification, the asset class limits, the dealer limits. That's what takes us there. Because if you look at the global market space, definitely there's no guarantee in markets. Markets can move up or down, but what is the strategy you input to ensure that there is capital preservation for your investors?
Okay, fantastic. Before I ask my question, Jean is asking whether the presentation will be made available to us, because
Absolutely.
yes, yes. So
Yes,
yes, this
sure.
is recorded. So what we normally do is upload onto our YouTube channel and then share the link on email, because all of you have logged in, have shared your email. So definitely with your email address, you'll be able now to get this particular message, or rather this particular link of the recording. Usually we send this email on a Thursday. Today is Tuesday, so by Thursday you should be able to check your email and you'll be able to see the link on the uploaded version of this. If you want these fact sheets and a lot more information, I can share that with you. If you can put your email address on the comment section, because I don't want to send to everyone. It's just those who are more interested in the fact sheet plus the application form. If you have some money to invest, I should be able to share all that with you directly on email, plus the summary in notes of what has been discussed today. So yeah, you'll get all that on email. Um, and also you can join our WhatsApp group. There we'll also discuss a lot more. There I had shared the link a bit earlier, and I can reshare that link just shortly. So my question was, I hope I haven't forgotten. Um, yes, someone was saying that with this mayhem that's happening with China, the US, and so on, that the gold value is going up. The what else? Yeah, there's some things that are, the values are going up while the US dollar, the strength is, like going down or something like that. I don't know.
Mm, okay.
What was
Yeah,
that?
that's a
I didn't really
question.
understand that.
Yes, that's a very good question. It's good to note that when you analyze the stock, the different investment asset classes that we hold, some of them actually work. They work parallel to each other. Some of them work on reverse. So when stocks are not doing well, you'd have the safe haven asset classes being commodities, where you find gold, oil, natural gas, and all that. So it's actually true. It can happen, and that is why you have that advantage of knowing that if a certain asset class is not really doing well for you, you have an opportunity of tapping into the very many other asset classes, compared to someone who's just investing in maybe just T-bills alone, or government bonds alone, or maybe real estate alone. In this particular investment solution, it is properly well diversified for you. So it takes care of you, whether markets are gaining, losing, or whether this particular asset class is too volatile and you don't want to focus so much on it. We have opportunities we actually get into other investment options.
Yeah, fantastic. Any other question? You can type in the comment section, or you open your mic and ask. You can put up your hand if you want to speak. so that we don't have too many people speaking at the same time. Any other question? Otherwise, this has been a very educative session. I'll also go through it, just like Jane is saying here. I'll also have to listen to it again. There's quite a lot of points that one would need to note, you know.
Okay. No worries. I will share all the presentations, including the fun fact sheet, so
Yes.
that you can go through it, and then you can always come back to me when it comes to investing.
And there's
Someone is
somebody,
asking if we can save from 100 shillings. No, Agnes. No, Agnes. The bare minimum investment is 250,000, and like I mentioned, because you're investing in many instruments, we want a good amount to be able to tap into all those asset classes for you. So 250 is a good amount to do that. Yeah. 100 shillings would be too low. In fact, I think for money market funds, it's about 500 shillings, or maybe the shimmy 100,000 shillings. Yeah. So 250 would make it better to tap into most investment options. Can you clarify about the top up? Is it monthly? Thank you, Sharon. So we do not really. It's up to you when you want to when you want to top up the investment. So should you want to top up on a daily, weekly? We have investors who maybe they are running a business and they're able to get 100,000 every day. So you can do that. You can do it daily, weekly, monthly. It's up to you. Even if you never choose to top up, we will not penalize you for that. Yeah.
okay, the other question I think I had in mind, when you top up with 100,000, is it also going to stay another 6 months before you can utilize it? Does it roll up like that?
So yeah, every investment is subject to the lock-in period of 6 months, and this is to ensure that whatever, if you want to access the initial investment, then you can do it after the 6 months. We realized that some investors were investing maybe 250, and after 3 months they put in maybe 10 million shillings, and they want to access it after the 3 months. So that is why we put it as for the any injection, for any amount that you put in, for any top up that you invest in.
Ah,
So
fantastic.
I also saw someone asking about why you should invest in MansaX or not any other fund, any other competition. But I would say the okay, so long as the fund is regulated by Capital Markets Authority, I would not dispute that you can invest with any other fund like the Oak Special Fund. However, it's good to also remember that MansaX has really been in the market longer. So maybe that's something that you need to consider. But not to paint badly the competition, they have also earned their license and they have it. So I think you make the decision based on all the facts that you have. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, and Steve, as I send you the information, I'll keep Miriam copied into that. We work together. I'm a financial advisor on this particular matter. So, yes, you'll get the contact of Miriam as I share with you more information. The other question was on, there's a question here which I thought was pretty nice. Um, is a top up monthly? Must you do the 100,000 monthly, or you can just do your 250,000 and sit back?
Yes, you can just do your 250 and sit back. Your top up is just basically based on your ability to do so. If you're able to do monthly, weekly, daily, once a year, it's up to you.
But it has to be 100,000 and above. You can't deposit less.
100,000, exactly, 100,000 and above. You can do one, not in batches of 100. You can do 101, 110, 115, any amount from 100,000 shillings.
Okay. So I hope, Sharon, that question is clarified in case it's not clear.
I have a question. Sorry, I'm trying to find the raise my hand thingy. I don't know why I can't find it.
No.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I joined in a little late. I was in early morning meeting. I just want to know how much is I'm already investing with MansaX. I was very skeptical joining. So I think with your presentation, I will listen to it again. I think the question I had asked, which you have somehow answered, is how safe is it to invest with MansaX? Because when I joined, I shared with a few friends and they were like, no way, this is looking crazy. That thing is going to just collapse. So how safe is it? And then you have spoken about the Oak Fund. That was my next question. Whether are you similar, the MansaX and the Oak Fund, are you similar? And then what are the returns so far? Because I'm seeing some bit of a difference in my statement. Because there are times it's like really high, and then you see the next quarter, you're like, oh, why is it not looking as good? So maybe you could explain that a little. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica, for your questions. So maybe the first question was how safe? Yeah. Just to take you back, when I started, I mentioned that most people had they were worried that MansaX is giving two very high returns and it was not sustainable. But look at how long we've been there in the market since 2018. We've consistently delivered above market average returns, and this is just purely courtesy of our investment strategy. You know, how we are able to diversify your investment, the investment committee coming in and making sure that we genuinely diversify your investment asset class wise, geographically wise, and so forth. So diversification really is one of the risk mitigation strategies. Risk mitigation strategy number two is the input of Capital Markets Authority, the regular regulator audits. You know, we cannot ignore the fact that audit is very, very important. So making sure that we have the checks and balances to ensure that MansaX continues to run sustainably and being able to offer better returns on investment. So I think that one is well answered. We also have the trustee oversight. Now that the fund is grown, we have trustees, Kingsland Court, to ensure that whatever monies that are there, they have to be used as per the investor statement, you know, ensuring that whatever funds come in are for the purpose they are intended for. So I think that one will answer most of the questions about how safe your investment is. Also, you're looking at a bank that has been there over 30 years. We're actually having our AGM, and Coach Lucy, I think I'll please remind me to share with you the poster or the flyer to share with the team that we have an upcoming AGM. So for all investors, so I hope Veronica, you can actually also join, and it will be an online AGM. It's now a requirement now that the fund has grown to over 55 billion shillings for us to hold these AGMs. So I hope I have answered that question. About the Oak Special Fund, it will be very hard for me to respond to that entirely about the Oak Special Fund, because this is competition, and I would not say competition in a bad way. You know, the more the merrier. In fact, now investors, I'm happy when we have Oak Special Fund coming in. Investors are no longer having that question of why is your the return on investment super high, the only ones that are high in the market. So if you have another fund offering that, then that is a plus and a bonus for even us financial advisors trying to explain to investors why the return on investment are high. However, like I mentioned, it's just like a home. The homes are not different. You have Veronica's home, then you have Lucy's home. They are all run differently. So our strategy is totally different from their strategy. However, I believe they have the end in mind, you know, to give above market average return. So I cannot speak for them. I can only speak for Mansa, that we've been consistent in the market for the last 6 years since 2019, and we've never delivered negative returns. Coming to why, Veronica, you feel like sometimes your returns are, are higher on a certain quarter and sometimes they are lower, I would go back to the presentation where I mentioned that different quarters yield differently. There's no quarters that looks like the other. However, as an investor, when you're coming in, you need also to be, you know, patient with the investment so that you experience what you call the compounding effect. So you just be patient with the investment, continue compounding, continue topping up, and you'll definitely realize the growth. Don't be in a rush to come in and opt out. So just be patient with the investment, and you're going to bear some good returns. I hope I've answered most of your questions, Veronica, if not all.
Yes, you have. Thank you so much. And maybe the last one, sorry, I'm hogging the platform. Uh,
So
are you looking to move digital, like, you know, like the, what are they called? The money market funds, you're able to track.
yeah.
So this one, for Manza, you have to wait every quarter to get it, which
Mhm.
is good to get the quarterly statements, but is it possible to maybe have it online?
Mhm.
Just to be able, even if it's the quarterly, to still just have it as online, like you can see the platform, this is when I joined, this is what I joined with. So far, this is what I have, maybe just for the flow. Thank you.
Very good question again, Veronica. Yes, that is actually what we are working on. Remember, if we were to share with you your statement daily or weekly, or if you could have the platform where you can see that, some of the investors would really be discouraged because of the up and down of this, investment stocks that we invest in. However, it's good to note that our quarterly updates are normally very good, because that's when we revalue the portfolio and we send you the statement. However, it is true we are actually working on an app to ensure that we are able to give you that information at least on a calendar quarter basis. So maybe to help you access your statements, be able to send the withdrawal requests and such things. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam.
Most welcome, Veronica.
Yeah, thank you so much, Veronica, for those wonderful questions. You can still ask more, but before you do that, Evelyn is asking, I own a training and placement company for domestic staff, and I'm building a circle to serve our employees. Can we invest in MansaX as a circle, or should we engage in a different format?
Absolutely, that's a very good question. Yes, you can invest as a circle. In fact, who have invested in MansaX include the individual investors like you and me. We have joined. There are people who just will come together. Maybe they want to raise some good amount of money and start off together. So long as you have a joint bank account, then you can open a MansaX with account with us. If you're an SME, we have many SMEs and also financial institutions that have opened MansaX accounts with us. We also have circles that are in pursuit of better dividends for their members, and so they opened accounts with us. So yes, you can actually open an account with us. So you'll just need to fill in a corporate account with MansaX, and we'll send you the requirements, and you can start. So long as you're registered, you just give us the registration documents and the minutes, and then we can proceed and open an account for you.
Okay, thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you for that. I'll look for you for sure.
Okay, Evelyn, thank you.
Mm.
Okay.
Thank you so much for those questions. Do we have any other questions? And also, I have all the forms for the corporate, for the individuals. So I can forward to you if you're interested in actually starting the process. And of course, Miriam and myself, we work together in terms of getting you, um, getting your investments sorted with the SIB. All right. Any other question?
Yeah, just a quick one here. This is Wilson. I just wanted to ask the presenter to explain the issue about making money when markets are going down. I just wanted to get it clearly.
Okay, thank you, Wilson. Okay, let me just try to explain in a layman's language. Let's use Safaricom stocks, and I hope it's safe to use Safaricom stocks as an example in this case. Coach Lucy, don't find myself in trouble. But
No
let's
problem.
just use it as an example, yeah? So, like you've bought Safaricom shillings during the IPO at 5 shillings, and it has gained all the way to 30 shillings. You'd say that you've gone long, you're on the buy position, so you've gone long that asset. You actually sold it at 30 and you gained 25 shillings. That is going long the market. Now the reverse happens. So assuming now the stocks are not good, the Safaricom stocks are not good, and it's actually going down now from 30 going down to maybe 20. So if in the local market space, you'd actually decide to just either hold or just sell and say, you know what, I want to count my losses so long as I've not lost the initial. So if I've made my 20 account, I count that and I move on. However, in the global market space, there's something that we call the shorting strategy. I'll give you an example. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we saw the cessation of movement. Do you remember the cessation of movement? You could not go anywhere. We were all locking ourselves in. Then the industries were shut. That you could not open companies, you could not run the industries. So really, what happens, because there was no what really happened actually was that the oil started losing in value. In other words, oil was so much in plenty because people are not moving, people are grounded, industries are not functional. So oil stocks moved from $90 per barrel to negative. until guys now are called, come and collect your oil. And because looking at global market space, when such calamities, when they happen, like flu, like the flu, like the COVID, what will really happen is that there's going to be cessation of movement. What Mansa X did was to change the strategy. So they sold oil at $90 per barrel. In other words, I don't mean we have barrels of oil at SIB. I just mean in the global market space, in the online platforms that we have, we sold oil at $90 per barrel, and we hope that it will really go down for us to make money as it went down. So it went down to negative, and then we bought back. So we made that margin of $90 per barrel. So what does that mean? We were able to incorporate that in our portfolio, and our return on investment was 18.75%, just courtesy of doing what you call shorting. So in the global market space, when some assets are not losing in value, you can change your position and do what you call shorting. So whenever stocks are red and you realize that stocks are not doing so well, you know that you can actually we are taking advantage of the shorting strategy. And when I share the fun fact sheet that we delivered in the first quarter of this year, you will realize, even the portfolio managers comments, that we actually short some of the stocks and we gained in the global market space. And that is the best way to go at it. You don't want to be fixed in the traditional asset classes way of doing things, and then when the markets have collapsed, you are left with nothing. You want to take advantage of the stocks that are underperforming, or that are not performing very well, to actually make money. And the reverse is true. How long does it take us to long and short? It is actually a very short time that it takes, and markets actually always correct. I remember on 2nd of April, when stocks were red, and after 2 days stocks were back again green. So you might have that mindset of, you're thinking about that time, but things keep changing every millisecond, every day, every time. And that is why you have an investment committee to take care of that. So I hope Wilson, that one answers your question and gives you comfort to understand that this is a good fund that will take advantage of markets either way, whether they're gaining or whether they're losing.
Wilson, I hope you're happy.
Yeah, I think it's explained. Of course, there's need for further engagement, just to be, very, very clear. But I think she has made quite an effort to explain how they make money when markets are down. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Wilson.
A question from Evelyn. Are you investing in growing the tech space?
Absolutely. And thank you, Evelyn, for that question. Majorly, MansaX has always tapped into the tech space with the new world of AI and technology. And we have always incorporated tech space in the S&P 500, of course, the Magnificent Seven, the Microsoft, the Apple, all the stocks, the global stocks, the AI, the ChatGPT, the Amazon stocks, all these tech stocks we incorporate in MansaX. So yes, we are still we are still incorporating we're still incorporating them. Also note, they can also gain and lose. Like S&P 500 will do that for you. Sometimes it's very good and sometimes it's not so good, but yet we take advantage of all situations. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. I can see some good comments coming here. Benjamin is saying, after listening to this productive presentation, go ye and fatten the cow. Thank you so much, Benjamin.
Lovely, Benjamin. Thank you, Steve.
Yes.
Thanks, Steve
Evelyn is
Alan.
also saying thank you. Jane is saying thank you very much for this presentation. It has been so very informative and
You're
has
most
given
welcome.
me hope in the area of investing, even in this shaky economic climate. Asante sana. Yes. Wow, fantastic. Very good comments coming through. Um, oh, Evelyn is also asking an additional question. Is it growing, that tech space?
Absolutely, because we are in nobody can ignore the tech space. Imagine everyone now is using AI to do most things. I am sure some doctors are now using AI. We had another surgery that the doctors incorporated AI to just do heart surgery. So you can imagine AI is something that we need to embrace. So yes, we have incorporated AI stocks, tech stocks into into our portfolio for sure.
Okay, sorry, just to add in, I didn't mean is it growing? I was just correcting that part because I had written it the wrong way. So yes, I am very confident in the growth of the tech space. In fact, Maids of Honor is actually transitioning into tech, even if we're in the informal sector. So I'm just excited to hear that you're also covering that space.
Thank you, Evelyn, for that clarification. Yeah.
Okay, before I invite Steve, just give me a moment, Steve. Yes, Beatrice, we will share the presentation. Now that we have your email address as you are logging in, this presentation by Thursday will be sent as a link. We will upload it onto our YouTube channel and then send the link to your email. So by Thursday, just check your email box. And Lynn, your job is ending tomorrow with an NGO and you'd like to invest a part of that terminal deals. Yes, you'll find the PPT. We'll share the PPT, we'll share the link, and also I'll share with you the application form as well so that you can go ahead and just start your investment. Benjamin is saying, I'm also worried about men. Imagine out of 30 attendants, I can only see 3 men. Hey, the Lord help me. Benjamin, you're a statistician. Yeah, your wives are helping you. I want to assume a few of us here. So they're representing our families. That's just an assumption, but just to to make Benjamin not to get worried, yeah? Okay, now, Muthoni, great presentation. Miriam, very insightful. Mercy, great presentation. I also thought it was a ladies' affair. Sharon, no, Global Entrepreneurship Network actually is for all entrepreneurs. Here we learn, like today we learned from Miriam, we learned from so many speakers, even we learned from ourselves during our monthly breakfast.
I'm not a Rotarian. Yeah, I'm Rotarian,
Sorry?
Miriam. Thank you. I'm saying Mercy Njoroge noticed I'm a Rotarian. I don't know. Maybe she knows me from somewhere. Thank you.
Oh, Rotarian Miriam. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Oh, all right. I'm also a Rotarian.
Ah, fantastic.
Yes. So I think we'll catch up later on the Rotary matters.
Yeah.
Steve, please go ahead.
Thank you. So Miriam, I wanted to maybe just get a clarification on the performance charge, the 10% once you hit the hurdle rate. So you can kindly clarify on how that is applied and also why you also didn't apply it, because you said you had achieved the target of the USD fund last year, but you didn't charge it. So what was the criteria around that?
Okay, thank you, Steve, for that. So the performance charge only, okay, it applies for most funds like ours. If we are to talk about the global market space, the JP Morgans, the Goldman Sachs, they have such funds. And yes, the performance charge comes in like a bonus, to just appreciate the fund managers and the trading, the investment committee, to just encourage them to even give better exceptional returns. So our hurdle rate or our target rate is 25%. So should we have above 25%? For example, if we do 26%, if we squeeze out 26%, we shall charge 10% on the surplus. That is on 26, that is the one that has surpassed is 1. So we shall charge 10% on the 1. If it's 27, it shall be 10% on the 2, and so forth. However, we have not gotten there yet because MansaX has not delivered any amount from 25% for the dollar fund, and that is on gross. Yeah, for the dollar fund, the minimum the hurdle rate is 15%, and we delivered 17%. I said we did not charge it because it's also at the discretion of the fund. The fund can just decide not to. On individual accounts, you realize that some investors actually have already surpassed their hurdle rate. They have made more than 25%, because think about it. If we offered 24%, because of the compounding effect, you'll always realize that the investor who was there more than 12 months, they managed to squeeze out an extra maybe 0.47%. Like I did, sorry, like I analyzed the statements for investors who started on the 1st of January 2024, sorry, and they closed on 31st of December 2024, they managed to report a return of 21%. Yet, as a fund, we reported 19.53%, an extra 0.47%. So the reason for this is because the compounding effect always will help you squeeze out some more. And on a fund, we always charge this on a fund level. So as a fund, we never charged the performance fee, and it's actually at the discretion of the fund. Remember, the dollar fund is still a baby fund. It's only 2 years old. So maybe that is why the investment committee decided not to charge any performance fee on it. Yeah, I hope to have answered your question.
Yeah, it's answered. Thanks.
Karibu.
Wow, fantastic. Benjamin, you came late. I'm curious to know when the APP will be out. I have evangelized the gospel of MansaX to so many friends, and many of them just refuse to board because of the APP. They say MBU. They don't have the bowels to hold on for 3 months before they can get to see their money. Anyway, wow. Okay, demystify that, Miriam. What Benjamin is asking?
What is APP? I'm also lost somewhere. Maybe if
Sorry, I think he's asking about the app.
Oh,
When
they
the
meant
app
the
will be
app.
out.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, it's in capital, so I was like, what? All right.
okay. So the app will be out soon. I really will not say specifically when, but it's what the team is working on. And yeah, the people who are having their barrels full and they are worried about the MansaX returns, please you can sleep well at night knowing that this is your fund that has been there since 2019, and consistently it has done a good job for you. And now that you can even see the growth of the fund, there were investors when we started who knew that we'll only do this for a short time because the fund was small. But now look at the fund, more over 55 billion, and still being able to deliver good returns. Having a fund that is giving you a return on investment every end of calendar quarter, I mean a report, is actually better, if so long as you're compounding, and at the end of the year, at the end of your 12 months, you can actually see some good growth. Yeah, if I was to give you a monthly return and I give you just 1%, would that give you comfort? I think it's good to also understand that there are stocks that you invest in that could be maybe a 3 months old, and maybe we are revaluing our books or the fund every end of calendar quarter. So models are different funds, you have different models. There are funds that I understand they present their statements, or they send their statements every end of the month, but MansaX has a different strategy altogether. Remember when you were asking me about the Oak Special Fund, and yes, we could be in the same market space, but maybe our strategy is different. So these two funds could be different, how other funds are different. So it's good to just appreciate the kind of the distinct features of this particular fund. Yeah, thank you. I hope that one has answered your question.
Benjamin, you can open your mic. Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm truly happy with that. But you see, this is 2025. Most of the MMFs, they are coming up with applications where those ones who don't have very strong bowels to hold, their curiosity for too long, they can keep on, getting into the app. And, functionally, you look at most of the FIFs, you look at MMFs, most of the investment vehicles, they are giving their clients this invaluable, timely opportunity for them to transact within the app and finish everything within the app. So it looks like we are moving from the era of sending emails for the emails to be processed before a withdrawal can be confirmed and then be deposited on your account. It looks like many of the people who are in this game, they are giving their clients an opportunity to say, hey, this is your basket. Open it whenever you want to open it. But for the long investments that take 3 months or 6 months, the way, for example, MansaX, of course, the intention would not be to be withdrawing every here and then, But you see, we just have people who want to be sure that as they wait for the 3-month return or the 6 months return, they just want to have their eyes there, waking up and seeing, hey, my capital is there. Even though it's waiting for 3 months or 6 months to earn, but they can see it's there. So those are some of the feedback that we collect whenever we are talking about MansaX. And we have a group. We have a group called Moneyversations. I think it is a common group on YouTube. But we also have a WhatsApp that has almost 900 plus participants. And every time when we are trying to bring to the attention about, MansaX and how it is the leading, special fund provider, the question that stops the conversation is, do they have an app? And so, like when we collect this feedback and we have an opportunity to share this feedback with the top decision makers like you guys, I think we just need to bring it out for you to see that there is a need to provide clients with an app. Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin. Yes, I hear you on that one. And like I mentioned, yes, the team is working on something. Most probably, it will. I don't want to really promise. I just don't like promising things, and I'm not sure of. So let's just give the time the chance to come up with it, and then once it's ready, definitely you're going to use it. But yes, we appreciate the fact that having an app is important for fans, and especially in this era. However, like I mentioned, there are different dynamics that you have of this fund. Just like the way you have the bonds reporting after 6 months, you have T-bills after maybe every 3 months. You're able to, maybe you can get your T-bills or your money market fund every other time. There are different dynamics of every fund, but we appreciate the fact that it's the new era of having an app and embracing technology and a new way of doing things. And the team is actually working on this one, Benjamin.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow, fantastic, fantastic. It's been such a beautiful morning, a lot of learning. Definitely this recording is very useful. We'll listen to it again, and if need be, we will invite Miriam once again if we have additional questions. Do we have any other comments? Because this has been a beautiful morning. I've loved this conversation. We've all learned so much. So as I said earlier, we'll definitely send this on email. If you have, yes?
Yes, my apologies. I have maybe a question related maybe to just the logistics of it. I got this link from a friend. So when you say we'll hold more of this later, I wonder how I'm able to then get this link and the information if she doesn't share.
Oh, okay. Let me clarify. I think I had said that in the beginning, but maybe for those who joined us slightly later. Okay, number one, this is a global entrepreneurship network. It's a group that meets every Tuesday at 8 o'clock at this time. And once a month, every second week of the month, we meet at Royal Nairobi Golf Club just for breakfast and to share more information. And on a weekly basis, like for example, we've done this session today, on Thursday, you are going to get a link because you've already logged in and you shared your email address. As you are logging in, you shared your email address. So you will get a link to this recording through the email. And also I have shared a link here on the Global Entrepreneurship Network, WhatsApp group where we continue with more conversations there. You can join. And for those who actually have the money that want to invest, as Miriam has spoken, what I will do is share the fact sheet, share the application forms, whether it's a corporate application form or a individual, and just some little more information. I'll keep Miriam copied because Miriam is the one who is inside, a Standard Investment Bank. Myself, I'm an independent financial advisor, so I work closely with Miriam to be able to ensure that your money is properly invested with SIB, MansaX. So I'll share all that information, and we keep talking every Tuesday. So once you've logged in here, you are actually in our database, and therefore you keep getting more information, the next speaker who will come in, and the topics that will come in. And you can also share your ideas on the topics that you want for us to get a speaker on. So it's a collaborative environment. I don't know, Veronica, whether answered your question?
Oh, yes, you have. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So yes, you'll get more of this information and you can talk to us, you can text me. I have shared my phone number, and if you joined late, that is my phone number. You can just get through to me on text or even on phone, and let's continue having this conversation. Yes. So I think it's been a wonderful day. Anything else?
Lucy,
Yes,
this
William.
is Wilson again. Just maybe one of the final questions to Miriam. Maybe she could have talked about a little bit about her team. The experience of the team, because when you invest in such a fund, you are looking at the experience of the team and who else do they work with internationally? Because you're talking about investing internationally. Just maybe a minute or two. Thank you.
Miriam, your question?
Yes, maybe to get what Wilson is trying to say, who we would work with in terms of maybe a bank that offers a similar investment solution.
No. Miriam, I'm asking about the team that is behind all these good returns, and the experience of the team, and also how do you work with other people internationally, given that you're investing internationally and in very complex markets, so many diversified products. So how does it work? Because you want to give the confidence to the people investing that there's really a solid team with the solid experience behind all these, and that you have networks. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a team that is led by our portfolio manager, Mr. Nahashon Mungai. That is the head of global markets, the executive director global markets. Under him, of course, we have the investment traders, the traders and the dealers who have experience in banking. Yeah, for Nahashon, he has an experience of over 19 years in banking. He was a banker and working in the treasury in terms of trading different aspects in the treasury in the in the bank. And then we have the dealers who also work with him, different dealers for different investment asset classes. You remember, when you're talking about dealer limits, every dealer is apportioned their portion of the fund to run with. Then we also have the custodian bank, which is I&M Bank. When it comes to cash and cash equivalents, that will mean some money is in that account to take care of your liquidity. Also, that is the account that you deposit money to, so that we can start your investment with you. We have the trustee, who are the Kingsland Court. That is also part of the team to ensure that we are running this fund the right way. The regulator doing the regulator audits, that is the Capital Markets Authority. Not forgetting now the other directors, including the founder, Mr. James Wangunyu, and the other directors who are working with him, Mr. James Kihumba, Pauline Mwai, Donald Wangunyu, and so forth. So we have a big investment committee just taking care of the risk aspect of it, the running of the fund, that is the portfolio management of part of it, the reporting of it, the audit and all that. Yeah, so we have the manager, the trustee, the regulator, the custodian, the auditors, and now the entire board at large at MansaX. I hope that one answers, Wilson.
Yes, that's important, because the governance is very, very important, and also the experience. What about internationally? Are you working with other people, out there as you trade in all these complex, products and commodities? Thank you.
Yes, so it was actually a requirement for Capital Markets Authority for us to have brokers in Kenya. For you to get into the global market space, you require regulated brokers. So yes, we work with brokers all over the world: Asia, Tokyo, Sydney, London, all over the world. We have brokers that we deal with, and that is why our 5%, that is where part of our 5% goes. We have to pay brokerage fees to get entry into these particular markets. So yes, we work very well with different brokers all over the world. So that is why you're lucky to tap into basically all markets. There's a time where where Bloomberg had to come and check which is this fund in Kenya that is really getting into almost 90% of the stock market in the global market space. So yes, you are in a very well diversified kind of investment solution, courtesy of the brokers that we work with globally, and also the portfolio management team here at MansaX. Wilson?
Thank you very much. Yeah, of course, when people put in their hard-earned money, they want to be sure that that their investments will give them the returns that they need. And maybe that, I don't know whether that explains. Maybe I don't know whether your portfolio. Of course, people have different risk appetite. So, but thank you very much. You have made some effort. But of course, these are things that are always in the minds of the investors in the difficult times that we are living in. When of course, people have also faced a lot of challenges as they try to invest. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Wilson.
Wow, I
So
like the
something maybe Lucy can add on to that is
Yes.
that we also have diaspora investors. If you have diaspora clients, people are out there who are earning in dollars and they would want to invest, MansaX USD is actually a very good, offers a very good return above what the US Treasury bonds are giving. So if you have friends and family who are living in the US, they always have a very good appetite to the MansaX dollar fund. So just get in touch with them and also advise them accordingly, because this is a very good opportunity for them. Thank you.
Fantastic. I just like the conversation that's happening, and I'm thinking we should be having this particular conversation more often, looking at various aspects, looking at what's happening in the market, just getting those updates. And I'm sure I'll have a conversation with Miriam so that we can come up with a plan on how we can have more conversations around this particular product. And someone is asking that it's Benjamin again. I know MansaX is regulated by CMA, but is a special fund as a product regulated?
Absolutely. Benjamin, MansaX special fund is regulated by Capital Markets Authority. Please remember, we earned the name special. Before that, we were just MansaX fund, but we earned the name special to just identify us as a special fund because of the element of global markets. And this is something that just happened recently, just last year. However, MansaX is regulated by Capital Markets Authority, and also the bank. SIB, Standard Investment Bank, is also regulated by Capital Markets Authority. So yes, it's a regulated fund.
Fantastic.
That answers
Lynn
Benjamin.
is also asking about whether Kenyans can also tap into the dollar fund investment.
Absolutely. In fact, it's good to also diversify your portfolio. I never normally recommend that investors convert their Kenya shillings to the dollar. However, I always advise investors, if you can have a small portion of your investment in dollars, then you can do that, because the dollar is a stronger currency to Kenya shillings. So eventually, if you give it time, it might look so minute. The returns on investment, which is at 12.5, might look so little, but remember that's 12.5 on the dollar. So 12.5 on the dollar is not compared to the 19% on Kenya shillings. However, don't go converting your funds. If your utilities are in Kenya shillings, please invest in the Kenya shillings fund. But if you have reserves in dollars, or you have utilities in dollars, then you can tap into the dollar fund as well. You can actually have both accounts running. You can have the Kenya shillings and the dollar as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. Any other question, or can we bring this to a close? I think we have talked, and we'll definitely have Miriam again soon, actually, based on the questions that are being asked here. I want to believe very soon. But we can continue that conversation in the WhatsApp group. If you can just join there, and then so that we can now pick a good topic for all of us to again come online. But every Tuesday, definitely there's a topic that we are sharing. It will come on email, it will come on WhatsApp group, and in whatever other WhatsApp groups that are there, it's always shared so that every Tuesday you're ready. And if you're not, if you're ready, just the link you used to join today is the same link we use every Tuesday. So every Tuesday, 8 o'clock, you can just join. If we don't have another question, any comment, Miriam, you wanted to say something?
I wanted to say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. And procrastination is the enemy of time. Don't wait until you have so much to invest. Like someone will say, I want to wait until I have 1 million to invest. Start from that 250 and grow your investment, and you'll be happy about this presentation today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that clarification. Actually, it's important, actually, we all of us just take one bold step. Let's multiply our income, let's build our wealth, and definitely you never know. You've seen that 1 million that has turned into almost 3 million since 2019, that example that we were given. So it's the right time to actually start. Yes, great presentation. Sharon is saying that. Thank you, Miriam. Evelyn is saying that. Amen. Benjamin is very happy today. So I want to thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's session. As I said, you'll get a link by Thursday in your inbox. And let's continue the conversation. Let's join every Tuesday. There's a lot more we learn, and even as we network, because our businesses, and even getting to know each other. The next physical session at Royal Nairobi Golf Club will be on Tuesday, the 13th of May, and we'll be speaking about sales, how to grow your business, how to boost your sales, how to prospect, and many other conversations that we'll have then. For now, I wish to bring this particular session to a close. It's been a fantastic session. I've really enjoyed myself, and I believe all those who've been here, because I can see not everyone has dropped, just one or two. And Sharon is saying, thanks, Lucy, for organizing this meeting. Yes, thank you, Sharon, and join every Tuesday. There's a lot more we'll be sharing. And asante sana, Miriam, for that insightful session. I can't thank you enough. I'm sure we'll be meeting very soon, and so that I can give you a gift. Everyone else, let's have a good day, good week, and let's meet on Tuesday next week. Kindly repeat the details. Jane is saying on 13th of May, we'll be meeting at Royal Nairobi Golf Club. It's a breakfast, yes. For the members of the Global Entrepreneurship Network, the breakfast is 3,950. For the non-members, it's 5,950. It's a half-day session because it's a workshop-based. It's structured as a workshop where you come out with an action plan on what you're going to improve on when it comes to building your sales pipeline, your prospects, and so on. So that is why it is. But every breakfast is usually 3,950. But this one for the non-members, we have actually put it up to 5,950. But for the members is 3,950. So you're most welcome, all of you. The link again will be sent on email. We'll also post it on the WhatsApp group so that you can register. And you're welcome for the 13th. But still, on Tuesday next week, we are still meeting, because we meet every Tuesday online, except second week of the month, which is physical, a breakfast session. We need to know each other. We need to understand each other. We need to share ideas. So you're most welcome. My phone number I've shared there. You can contact me separately, or and we can discuss a lot more. All right. Thank you once again. Have a good day, good week ahead. See you on Tuesday next week. Goodbye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.